Minnesota salty country. Well, we got down in the bottoms when we got in from work yesterday. Got some bush hogging done. Parked the tractor up here. I think I got some fuel issue with this thing. I'm gonna check it out. I may need to drain the strainer or whatever, but it seemed to struggle a little bit yesterday making power, so may check that out today. But this morning I want to get out here. I've got a couple trees, and one of them's right back over there beside the driveway. I battle kudzu out here. It's on my neighbor's property. You might can see it in the shot. I try to keep it off of my property. Well, I had cut a big kudzu vine that went into that tree several years ago, and then a kudzu has creeped over there now, I think, and ran up that vine, or if not, there's a vine in there. It's probably an inch and a half thick. That's all growth from this year. So up in the top of the tree, I see the vine. It's all the way to the top. So I'm gonna get out there with the excavator and see if I can pull that out. But first, I'm gonna get the limb saw, the pole saw, and go out there and cut some of the bottom limbs off of it so I can kind of get under there a little bit better with the excavator so I don't rip a hose off or something like that. I've got that tree and another one over here behind the excavator that both have kudzu vines in them, and I want to get them out. So stick around and let's see what it takes to get these vines out of these trees. That big vine has grown this year. glitch. My camera shut off, and it didn't record me pulling that vine out. But basically, I just backed down the hill, pulled all the vine out of the tree, and cleaned up the limbs, got them piled over there. But what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna get the excavator down here. Right here behind me is a vine going up into this tree. I think I can get a hold of it without having to cut any limbs off. So let's see if my camera will stay on and get this one. Well, that was a total bust. I did cut the vine. I was hoping it would stay intact. I tried to dig a little bit of the root up. That stuff's so flexible. It's very hard to do anything with it unless you can get it right under the thumb. But anyway, I've got it killed. And so later on this fall, I'll get out here and rig something up, straps or a chain or something on this thing, and get the vine pulled out of the tree. And I'll also have to dig this up. There's the limbs and the vine over there from this tree. I'll show you what it looks like now real quick. I've got to get back up here and where these limbs right here are growing out on the sides and cut those off and get that trimmed up with the pole saw and cut a couple of those little scrub trees down at the bottom. Typically I bush hog from right in here that way. But anyway, I've got it to where I can get under there with a tractor. I'll trim up that little bit of limbs and the tree will look halfway decent. But these vines, they're all over here on my neighbor's property. These vines, they say will grow 8 inches a day. And I tend to kind of believe them. They're kind of taking over some of the trees. I probably need to get with him and see if he wants me to kind of get out in there and pull some of those vines out of that stuff before it completely kills them. I've got one right here. It's kind of starting around this tree. I'm going to get over here. It's at the edge of the property line. I'm gonna get over here and get it pulled up at some point. Got another one out there. But yeah, these things are nuisance. A little bit of stuff going up in that tree right there. But yeah, it's definitely a pain in the butt. Well, I guess I'll wrap this episode up. It sucks that I lost my footage of getting this vine out. It came out very good. It was probably 30 or 40 foot long. The main vine that went up in there sprouted off into smaller, like half-inch vines that kind of sprouted all over the top of the tree. But anyway, I got it all pulled out, so it's good. Got the bottoms bush hogged yesterday, so things are good down there. We had one down there this week, one day after work, and got the trees trimmed up, so now we can get back down there and ride. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Remember, if you like our content, subscribe, share it with your friends. We'll see you on the next one.